Yo guys, what is going on? It's your boy Psycho from Psycho Sibs Gaming, and today I have a very special video for you. We are going to be going through the weekly character challenges for all 4 June characters. That's right, this is not a single character weekly challenge guide, this is a guide for all 4 characters. So you guys will no longer have to wait for me to put out the character challenge guide each week. If you want to do All-Star next week, then as soon as you unlock him with the key, you can come right back to this video. I will put timestamps in the description for all 4 characters' guides within this video, and you can just hop onto the All-Star portion and get those challenges done in no time. Special thanks goes out to Lego Space Racer and Maraine from our Discord, which if you have not joined the Discord, please do. We just revamped it. It looks really cool. We've got some mods now. It's a cool place. Go ahead and check it out. I'll put a link in the description. But anyway, special thank you to them for providing me the images of all of the characters' challenges. Without that, this video would not be possible. So, without further ado, whip out your lawn chair, plop it down, sit back, relax, because you're watching Psycho Sibs Gaming. Alright guys, so the very first character we are going to cover is Rose. This is because Rose is by far the hardest challenges to complete out of any of the 4 characters this June. And I actually went ahead and spent my own character key on Rose to help you guys even further. So taking a look at the challenges, the first one is propel 50 allies with the Arcane Enigma. Next is earn 5,000 experience with Rose as usual. Next up is goatify 30 zombies. Next up is jinx enemy goats. You have to do that 15 times. And finally, deal primary weapon damage. You have to do that 500 times. Now, these can be a little bit confusing. The first thing I'm going to talk about is actually the Arcane Enigma one. So basically, you have to get it to trigger 50 times on allies. However, it does not work with AI enemies. If you are using the Arcane Enigma on an AI enemy and you're getting a 1 XP bonus, just a plain 1 XP, that means it is not working. In order for it to work, you need to do it on an ally and get 10 XP. So now the question is, what allies will actually allow you to complete this challenge? But before we talk about that, let me mention real quick what upgrades I'm running. You can forget about the Refreshing Revives upgrade, but what you really want is Critical Blow and Goatify. We have to turn a lot of zombies into a lot of goats, so if you do have Goatify, make sure to put it on. Anyways, let's go back to talking about the Arcane Enigma. So the first way to actually progress this challenge is by using the Arcane Enigma on real players, either in Giddy Park or in live multiplayer matches. I would recommend Giddy Park for this, so if you do have online, you can hop into Giddy Park, find some friendly plants hanging around. Remember, these do have to be non-AI. These have to be real player-controlled plants. And you can go ahead and use your Arcane Enigma on them, and this will advance your challenge. So every time you see 10 XP pop up, this is going to give you a +1 towards that 50 total for the challenge. Now, this can be ideal in some circumstances. As you can see, like in this game, there really weren't a whole lot of plants on my side. So it's pretty hit or miss. Also, I would like to mention that not everybody does have online. You know, there are people with Xboxes that don't have Xbox Live Gold, and therefore this method of getting the Arcane Enigma doesn't work, which means there has to be a way to get the Arcane Enigma challenge done offline. And there certainly is. What I recommend doing is head over to Mount Steep. This would also work into Town Center, but I just prefer Mount Steep, and you'll see why later. So go ahead, hop into Mount Steep, and make your way over to the Battle Chest. For those of you who are not aware, there's something called the Battle Chest in every single one of these PvE environments. And the Battle Chest essentially allows you to play multiplayer game modes such as Team Vanquish and Gnome Bomb and other things, but while offline. So go ahead and talk to this guy right here and select the Mad Science Battle Chest Challenge. So if we hop into this match here, which can be completely offline, you're going to find that if we do use the Arcane Enigma on these AI teammates, it does count towards the challenge. So to repeat, you have to go to the Battle Chest, Select any of the Battle Chest challenges and use your Arcane Enigma on those teammates, and it will advance the challenge. Any other AIs from any other part of PvE will not count. A good way to know whether or not the Arcane Enigma boost actually counts towards the challenge is by looking at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen while you're using it. If you get the 10 XP bonus, as you can see here we are getting, that means that the boost does count towards the challenge and you are progressing it. Another great challenge to work on at this time would be Rose's primary weapon damage challenge. Now, the description is actually misleading because you would think that you would need 500 damage with Rose's primary weapon to complete the challenge, and this is actually incorrect. You need 500 hits with the weapon. So if you were to shoot one blast out of Rose's weapon and hit one enemy for 12 damage, you would progress the challenge one tick, not 12, because it's counting the amount of hits, not the amount of damage. So overall, what I would recommend doing in this Battle Chest game mode is start off by focusing on Rose's Enigma challenge. Use the Enigma on your teammates, start to progress that challenge. When the Enigma runs out, then focus on killing scientists. Don't worry about goatifying too much at this point. We'll talk about that later. But just focus on killing scientists, landing those primary hits, getting the critical vanquishes to refresh your arcane faster, so then you can use it again and advance that faster, and so on and so on. Once you do complete the Arcane Enigma challenge, then drop this game mode. We're going to move on to the next step. So we're going to go back to the beginning of Mount Steep and talk to this pea shooter right here and accept his quest for Will You Be My Posse. Just a note, if you have already done this quest, you can redo it, so no worries about that. In fact, you guys have seen me go through this beginning of the quest a few times on this channel, especially with the Rose XP glitch, which is now patched, that being the most recent one that utilized this quest. But this quest is really great because it provides us with a lot of enemies, and I'll show you how we get to that stage. So just follow the directions and progress through the quest as usual. Do the target shooting, go and face the chomper in the pie eating contest, and then when you have to pick your posse, you want to choose the 3 weak weeds. Don't choose any of the actual characters. Pick 3 of these little guys with the buckets on their heads, these glens or whatever they're called. You want to choose all 3 of these because we want them to die right away. After you pick your posse, head up to the right through this little passageway here, following the path, and you'll see that a ton of zombie enemies spawn. This is where we're going to use our Goatify. So the strategy here is to group up a bunch of these smaller zombies. Don't kill any of them. We want to save them so we can Goatify a lot of them at once. But float around, gather up a bunch of zombies in a big circle, and then once your Goatify is active and ready to use, shoot the Goatify at the zombies, and then what I'll recommend doing is jumping in the air after using it and shoot the Jinx in the middle of the pile, because that will Jinx multiple goats at once and allow you to complete that challenge really quick. Now that should take care of those 2 Goatify challenges, so if you still need to complete the primary weapon damage challenge or the XP challenge, I would recommend just going ahead and finishing out the rest of this quest. Does give you some pretty good XP, and it gives you plenty of opportunities facing some Gargantuars and other porta potty enemies to really land a lot of primary hits on them. So you should be able to complete the rest of Rose's challenges simply by finishing this quest out. And with all that said, you should have your Rose challenges completed. We're almost 10 minutes into the video, which is pretty crazy considering these things are usually like 5 minutes long. And we still have 3 more characters to go. However, the other 3 are actually really simple and don't require a bunch of different strategies. So we should be able to get through those a lot quicker. And I won't waste any more time rambling. Let's move on to the next one. So short disclaimer before I begin these next challenges. From now on, I will be doing the challenges based off of photos that I was sent. Therefore, there could be small nuances with the challenges that I didn't realize, or there could be some weird reasons that it doesn't work. For example, the Arcane Enigma on specific AIs not working. So if anything like that does happen, then make sure to shoot me a comment to know that it doesn't work. But anyways, let's move on to Footsoldier. So the first challenge with Footsoldier is going to be earn 5,000 XP with him, which is expected. Next one is deal damage with the ZPG during a rocket jump. You have to do this 25 times. I'm assuming that means actually connecting with damage 25 times. That's not 25 damage. That'd be ridiculous. The next one is deal damage with the ZPG. So let's deal 3,500 damage with the ZPG. Whether that's in the air or on the ground, I believe doesn't make a difference. Next up is vanquish 50 enemies that are affected by the super stink cloud. I'm assuming that means they have to be within the stink cloud. And finally, land 1,000 critical hits, which is a lot of critical hits. Alright guys, so I actually have one specific method to complete all 5 of these challenges. Before we get into that, let's take a look at the upgrades you're going to want to run. You are, of course, going to want to run combo and critical blow because these are very heavily special ability based challenges. And also you're going to want to run sticky. If you have sticky, this allows your stink cloud to stick to surfaces. This is very important within this strategy, so if you have sticky, make sure to run it. If you don't have sticky, I'll cover an alternative solution near the end of this Footsoldier portion of the guide. With that all being said, many of you guys already know where we are. You know I can't just leave my boy Tiger Claws out of one of these videos, but we are going to be running the Tiger Claws bounty for this. In fact, if you have watched my Footsoldier guide for Tiger Claws, this strategy to complete the challenges is going to be very similar to that strategy. So I'll go ahead and clear out some of the small enemies around the area here so we don't take damage. And for those of you who have never heard of Tiger Claws somehow, we are currently in the Zombies Town Center. You can see my location. Hold on. I'm getting hit. Okay. Taken care of. Anyways, back to the map. We're currently in the Zombies Town Center in Uptown. You can see the marker right here. It is a bounty. If you don't have the bounty pass, you can get it from the exclamation point just north. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how you can adapt this bounty to complete all 5 of your challenges. Starting off, the first acorn, we don't really need him for much. He'd be a waste of our special ability, so go ahead and kill him off and wait for the other 2 acorns to spawn. Now, once the 2 acorns spawn, wait until they reach the top of Tiger Claws. Don't shoot at them now. Once they do, rocket jump up into the air and shoot your ZPG at the top by the acorns. You can go ahead and finish the acorns off, but the Rocket Jump ZPG will advance the Rocket Jump ZPG challenge as well as the ZPG challenge. Now, once the 3 acorns spawn, they're going to hop onto Tiger Claws, and what you want to do is throw your Stink Cloud and stick it to the top of Tiger Claws. Because we're running Sticky, the Stink Cloud will carry on top of Tiger Claws, and all of the acorns on the top of him will be affected by it. Now, after you clear the 3 acorns out from the top of Tiger Claws, you can finish him off using critical shots straight at his eyes, and you can also shoot your ZPG if it refreshes to get more ZPG damage. So in conclusion, we will be advancing the Rocket Jump ZPG challenge by doing the Rocket Jump ZPG on the first 2 acorns, and you can also use it if your abilities are refreshed near the end when you solo Tiger Claws. And we will be advancing the vanquish enemies within a stink cloud by killing off those 3 acorns each run who are affected by the sticky stink cloud on top of Tiger Claws. And we will also be advancing the critical shots challenge by lasering Tiger Claws in the face repeatedly in order to finish him off. And of course, we will be finishing the experience challenge because if you do this bounty over and over again, it is one of the best XP farms, and therefore you'll easily get 5,000 XP. And of course, like I promised, if you do not have the sticky upgrade and all that you're left with is the Stink Cloud challenge to complete, what I would recommend doing is running around the town center and throwing your Stink Cloud down at small enemies and then finishing them off while they're in your cloud. Once your Stink Cloud needs to refresh, remember we're running combo and critical blow, which means you can run around and get critical vanquishes on other enemies to refresh your Stink Cloud faster. You can just see in the footage behind me here what I'm talking about. So I'm running around, vanquishing until my Stink Cloud recharges, then I find a group of small enemies. Once I find the group of small enemies, I'll chuck down a Stink Cloud on the ground and try to kill them before the Stink Cloud actually kills them. But that's all I have for Footsoldier. Remember, if there's any problems with it, make sure to drop a comment below and let me know. Alright guys, so next we are moving on to our 3rd character, which is All-Star. Now, All-Star's challenges are actually fairly simple. There's nothing super complicated or confusing with them, so we should be able to run through him pretty quick. But anyways, taking a look at his very first challenge, it is land 1,500 hits with the football cannon. That is his primary weapon. Next up, we have to vanquish 20 enemies from within the dummy shield. So what I'm assuming this means is you have to stand within the shield and shoot at enemies. Now, I don't know whether or not the enemies need to be outside of the shield or if you can kill them while they're inside the shield. That's something I'm just not sure of because I don't actually have the character unlocked. But anyways, it shouldn't really matter. You can feel free to drop a comment below and let me know which way it actually is. Next up, we have deal damage with the Imp Punch. You need to deal 1,000 damage with that special ability. Next up, we have do 30 sprint tackles. So sprint tackle 30 plants. I'm assuming that if you hit more than one plant with the sprint tackle, this should count. And finally, earn 5,000 experience with All-Star. Now, as far as the All-Star upgrades go, All-Star is actually one of my least leveled characters. I really don't play him a whole lot, so the things that I'm going to be running is I'm going to be running Critical Blow, which, as you guys obviously can tell, is quite a staple for me, especially with these challenge guides. And I'm also going to be running a supercharged football cannon, which will allow us to recharge our football cannon faster because we do have to land 1,000 shots with it. Just a real quick talk about Critical Blow. The reason it's so great with all of these challenge guides and why you may not necessarily use it in multiplayer too much is just because a lot of these challenges revolve strictly around special ability use. So anything we can do to speed up the refresh on our special abilities will allow us to complete the challenges faster. Now, when you're in multiplayer, if you have a character that is very special ability spam heavy, for example, 80s Action Hero, where his rocket ride and his can't missile are just extremely powerful and you really want to be using those as often as you can, that's where you're going to want to be using combo and critical blow on your character. But as far as most characters, you're probably not going to realistically run them in multiplayer. This is going to be more of a challenge specific setup. So for All-Stars challenges, we're actually going to complete them all in Ops. Now, it's actually surprising to me how many individuals have not gone through and explored the PvE regions. I actually haven't even completed them myself, but Ops is a really great and pretty fun feature in PvE that you can use to complete a lot of these character challenges. In fact, I've had a lot of viewers tell me that this is what they use for pretty much all of their character challenges. And I think that's a great idea, especially for a character like All-Star, where all the challenges are pretty straightforward and just dealing with special abilities. So if you don't know where Ops is, you could obviously follow me right here. I'm choosing to do the Town Center ones. You could also do the Wailing Woods Ops. But anyways, basically what we're going to do is after planting our little robot friends to start the round, the general strategy is if you have the dummy shield, use it. So place the dummy shield down, get your vanquishes with that outside the shield because the enemies will attack it and attempt to break it and then it'll have to refresh again. So this is the one I found you should really go for first. After using the dummy shield, then feel free to use your Imp Punts and other special abilities such as the Sprint Tackle to complete both of those challenges. And if none of your abilities are refreshed, well, we do need to land hits with primary weapons, so go for the head because we are running Critical Blow, which means that all of your special abilities will refresh faster just by getting an easy critical vanquish on a little weed. So with all that being said, the real, I guess, challenge here is just managing your special abilities. If you want to do this as fast as possible, you need to always be aware of what special ability is refreshed because you need to use all 3 special abilities to complete all of All-Stars challenges here. And it's really easy to forget and get caught up in the moment and just completely ignore the fact that you have special abilities ready to use, and that'll just slow your time down overall. Now, just one more word on Ops real quick. I do enjoy the game mode, and I think that the main problem and why a lot of people don't necessarily touch this game mode is because right now there's only 5 waves. I have heard rumors that they will be extending Ops in the future, which I really hope, because right now Ops is pretty easy, and I think a lot of people will agree with me that even as a solo player, I have no problem clearing Ops. So hopefully that'll get extended. Hopefully we can see some more people playing Ops. Maybe they'll add in some new Ops arenas and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up All-Star. There's not a whole lot left to say with him. If you do have any questions about his challenges or if I missed something, if there's some weird thing or weird nuance with one of his challenges, maybe it's the buddy shield one or the imp hunt or something like that, please drop a comment below and let me know. Like I said, I'm not actively completing these. These are just based off of a photo. So anyways, guys, that's my recommendation for All-Star. This is a shout out to all those ops players. And anyways, we're going to move on to our fourth and final character. Alright guys, now we will move on to our fourth and final character of the Garden Party Festival, and that is Snapdragon. And now remember, you don't have to do these characters in this particular order. This video will always be here for you, so you can do them in whatever order you please. Anyways, we're going to move on, look at these challenges here. The very first one is ignite 200 enemies with the Flame Blower. To be clear, that is Snapdragon's close range primary weapon, and it looks like you just got to catch the zombies on fire. You don't have to actually vanquish them. The next one is vanquish 30 enemies with the Flare Ball. The Flare Ball is not the blue Fireball special ability. That is the blue Blazes. The Flare Ball is Snapdragon's long range primary weapon, just to be clear. Next, we have deliver 500 damage using the Blazing Trail special ability. That's the fire trail that goes along the ground. We also have vanquish 30 enemies with the Swoop Slam. My bad. Again, another special ability. And finally, earn 5,000 XP with Snapdragon. So now we will take a look at the upgrades I've chosen for Snapdragon. And as you guys can tell, these challenges again are very heavily based on special abilities. So of course, we're going to be running Combo. We're going to be running Critical Blow in order to refresh all those special abilities. And we're also going to be running Coolant, which will allow our Flame Blower and Flare Ball to refresh faster just by setting an enemy on fire. So that's a great one to run in this scenario. You don't really have to worry about low life, but I had an extra slot, so I threw it on. So as far as how we're actually going to be completing these challenges, if you've noticed, these set of challenges require a lot of enemies to either be vanquished or set on fire. So essentially we need a bunch of enemies grouped together in a close area to complete these challenges as fast as possible. So if you guys have watched this video till the end, then you know where we're going. We touched on it a little bit with the Rose challenges, but we're actually going to go back to Will You Be My Posse and go ahead and use our special abilities on those big groups of small zombies. So same as we did with Rose, after you complete the target shooting and the pie eating challenge, you're going to select 3 of these really weak weeds, I think they're all named Glenn, and then head up to the right to find our first large group of zombies. Now what I recommend doing is corral them all up into one big group, let them kill off your little weed buddies so they don't get too distracted, and then once they're all in one big bunch, start off by using the Swoop Slam. After you use the Swoop Slam, you can gather them back up, and then launch a Blazing Trail, and you can actually kind of guide the zombies through the Blazing Trail because their pathfinding will not recognize it as a hazard, and they'll walk straight through the flames and catch themselves on fire. After that, what I would recommend doing is going ahead and using your normal fire breath to burn the zombies. Now, this is a bad example right here because what I would actually recommend doing, and as I'll show you right here, is use the fire breath to knock the hats off of the zombies, and then once all of their cone heads or buckets are knocked off, then use your flare ball to finish them off. Because remember, our flame blower only needs to ignite enemies or catch them on fire to advance the challenge, whereas our flare ball asks to actually vanquish the enemies. So like what I just said, I would recommend using the fire here to knock off all their hats, and then once the hats are knocked off, target the weaker enemies with the flare ball, and that should easily get you those 30 vanquishes. Now, if you've been following along to this point, once you clear out the second large group of enemies located in the middle, you can head over up, hop on top of this hay bale, up to this top area over here, and there will be one last large group of enemies. Once again, use the Swoop Slam to damage them, then use this little fire trail, run them back and forth through the fire, and then use your flame blower to catch the zombies on fire and knock off their hats, and finish them off with the flare ball to advance the flare ball challenge. Now, once you have actually defeated all the zombies in this area and advance your challenge as much as you can with the available zombies, you can actually just jump off the cliff here, because jumping off the cliff will reset this part of the quest from the point where you just selected the weeds. So it'll actually just put you right back at the beginning, not of the beginning of the whole quest, just right before you were about to head into the first large group of zombies. You don't even have to reselect your posse anymore. That'll already be done for you, and you can just repeat the cycle. It's extremely easy. It's very effective. You get a lot of zombies on fire. So overall, this is the ideal method to complete Snapdragon's challenges. Not to mention that as far as the experience challenge goes, every time a zombie walks through your blazing trail, assuming you get more than one on fire, you'll get 15 XP for every zombie who walks through. So that should help you get your 5,000 XP. Now, if you do this a bunch of times, you get all the other challenges done, and you still have quite a bit of XP to go. Like I said, I'm not quite sure how the XP will balance out with this. You can just go ahead and finish the quest off because you get quite a bit of XP for going and defeating the gang of bandits or whatever they're called and actually completing the quest. So if you still need XP, just follow along, go to the jail, complete the quest, and that should get you over that 5,000 limit. Anyways, guys, that is going to finally wrap up this video. If you did watch this whole thing through, well, then congratulations. If you just skipped around to see the character that you want, well, that's also good for you because that's what this video is meant for. So remember, if you watch this all the way through and you want to come back to a specific moment, I will put timestamps in the description so you know when each character's special portion of the video occurs. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this guide will be of use to you. Please comment below if you like this format better than the weekly format. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, see you next time, and game on, gamers.